as a mirror of the divine, every heart as sacred ground. To him, love was not a word, it was service. Respect was not formality, it was faith in action. In every creature, in every human, he saw a reflection of God's mercy. Our next presenter today is Maryam Rahmatyar. Maryam is from Afghanistan and has been living in the US for the past 10 months. She is currently studying computer science at the American University of Afghanistan. Maryam was first introduced to the Hizmet community there, where she attended courses, sohbets, youth programs, and read Hocaefendi's books and the Risale-i Nur. She is deeply inspired by Hizmet's principle of living for others to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, please join me in welcoming Maryam to the stage.
Thank you so much. And I know it's the beginning of the session, the day, but it's kolay gelsin. So, Bismillah, we'll start. I want everyone to answer my salam first. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. It's absolutely my honor to be speaking in front of you today, in front of you amazing people. So let's begin with an introduction of who I am and what's my journey to Hizmet. So my name is Maryam, I'm from Afghanistan, and I study computer science. And my journey with Hizmet began in 2019 in Afghan Turk course. I attended a science course in Afghanistan, and that's how I met my abis, ablas, and my teachers and Hizmet community for the first time. So I was curious, what is the motivation behind these people? They are so nice, they are behaving very nice with you, and the first time that we see them, they act like they have been waiting for you for their whole lives, and that was so special and unique to me. So I was curious, I wanted to know more, but I couldn't because I was just a student and they wouldn't tell you what Hizmet is while you're a student. So I found a book called the Nahzat Dil Dolegan, which means the movement of lovers. And that was my first book that I read about Hizmet, and I got information about Hizmet. And then I started reading Hocaefendi's books and Risale-i Nur, and I got more and more information both about Hizmet and also my religion and faith. So that's how I fell in love with Hocaefendi's book, with Hizmet, with the ideology of Hizmet. So Hizmet basically, Hizmet and in Farsi Khidmat, in English means service, serving humanity, loving humanity, and also living for others. And I wanted to be one of those lovers of this ideology and serve humanity. So I attended sohbets, camps, programs regularly in Afghanistan. I wouldn't miss any of them. And then I came to the US in January 2025, I mean this year. So, and I joined the ATFA community in March 2025. So that's all about me. And okay, so let's talk about the pictures. I have some pictures here. So four of the pictures are from Afghanistan. You can see the festivals, the programs that we had in Afghanistan inside Hizmet community with the girls, and also my first picture with Amin Abla, I love you Abla, and also my first camp with Shula Abla and other Ablas, and also my favorite Turkish dish is makluba, by the way. Yes, I love makluba, and I first tried it in Afghanistan with my ablas. And I want to ask here, how many of you have tried makluba? MashaAllah, I'm going to ask you questions. Okay. So, my topic is about Hocaefendi's genuine respect and love for every human being and creature through his relationship with God. So, let's begin with respect. What is respect? What is the literal meaning of respect, and why is it important, and what is respect in Quran? Respect, the literal meaning of respect is, the literal meaning of respect in languages like Arabic and Farsi and Turkish, we can say is, for example, ihtiram, karama, izza, and words like that. So those are the words that we use for respect, and the definition of respect basically is to admire and value people sincerely and very, very deeply. So respect and dignity is a vital and inseparable part of us. We all know, we all love to be respected, right? And what do you think? Why don't we like lies, betrayals, mistreatments, for example, invalid criticism, and these things? Why don't we like them? Disrespect, yes. Because we inherently consider them that they are disrespect to our souls and to our dignity. That's why we don't like them inherently. And one of the main topics in the Quran is being respectful in how we act and how we speak. Any form of disrespect not only causes disturbance in this world, but also affects and impacts the hereafter as well, since Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Latif. Al-Latif means the gentle, the kind, and the subtle. It means that He notices the very little tiny things, this little disturbance that you cause in someone's heart because you disrespected them. So I have a question now for Maqluba fans, no, for everyone. Which ayah indicates the importance of respect to all humanity in the Quran? Respect for everyone in the Quran. It starts with وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Yes. وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Indeed, we have dignified the children of Adam. So this is the ayah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He has dignified and honored all the children of Adam, regardless of faith, gender, ethnicity, or whatever, who we are, to diminish or disrespect anyone for any reason. This is a very profound question that I will leave you guys with. Likewise, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a walking and living Quran. He was our role model in every aspect of our faith, including respect and love. So scholars like Hocaefendi also followed his footsteps and embodied respect to the highest peak and its highest level. So when it comes to respect and love in relation to Hocaefendi, we can talk about different dimensions. But today, I'm going to talk about 4 key dimensions: respecting all humans, Muslims and non-Muslims, respecting women, respecting younger generation, and respecting nature, which are essential for him as a leader, and also it paved the way for us in his community. So let's begin. Respecting all humans, Muslims and non-Muslims. You guys with me? Everyone? Nice. So I want to read the quote from Hocaefendi, which I love the most. Muslims are my brothers in faith, and non-Muslims are my human brothers. So basically, everyone is my brothers and sisters, like that much closeness, you know? And also he said that believers see the whole universe as a cradle of brotherhood and sisterhood and feel connected to everything. Trustworthiness is a cornerstone of belief. And Maulana Jalaluddin Balkhi, known as Rumi here in the US, and Hocaefendi had similar approaches to spread the message of Islam for humanity, and that was through love and humanity. There's a famous poem of Maulana Rumi where he says, "Come, come, whoever you are, come. Baza, baza, haram chahasti, baza." And Hocaefendi cherishes and loves this idea of inviting people to yourself. But he changes it a bit. He says, you don't have to come to me, to us, we will come to you. So how did he go to people? By establishing interfaith dialogue centers, by visiting Jewish rabbis and Christian priests, and also encouraging people to do more conversations and dialogues with other faiths. And also he opened the schools in 170 countries, that's a lot, no matter what the situation was. For example, he sent his students to countries like Bosnia, Yemen, Iraq, like the war zones. Can you believe that? He sent his students to the war zones not as soldiers, but as teachers, because he believed that education is for everyone, because he loved humanity and he loved everyone to reach education. And also he inspired his students to open healthcare centers and hospitals in many countries like Kenya, Uganda, Somalia, and other countries like Iraq and more. I love this quote by Imam Shafi. He says, we don't hate anyone. There's no space for hatred in our hearts. We don't hate anyone. We just hate their bad actions. We don't hate the sinner, we hate the sin. And our job is to wipe out the disease, not the patient, right? And Hocaefendi also says, I'm going to read this, it's very beautiful. No one should be afraid that they will not have a seat and will be left standing in your heart. So, not even, people should not have a space in your hearts, they should have seats in your hearts. That's how we should respect each other. Okay, so the next topic is respecting younger generation, respecting you. So, Hocaefendi have always considered the youth as agents of hope. He always worked and hoped for a golden generation, a generation of youth who works for humanity. So he was the one who encouraged millions of young generations across the world, in all of the countries of the world, to get educated, have businesses, learn science, become successful individuals, but at the same time have faith and serve humanity. He was the one who encouraged, who we as youth learned from him how to combine our hearts and our minds, right? Like by studying science, we satisfy our minds, and by studying faith, we satisfy our hearts, and then we link them both together. And that's when we can go out and serve humanity. And also, he did not only encourage them to learn, but he also created a safe environment, a community to support young people. And as a young person myself, I feel at home when I am in Hizmet community. Like Hizmet is my second home. Why? Because in this community, I feel loved, respected, valued, and supported, and they accept me as a whole with all my flaws. And that's not something that you can find outside your family, except in Hizmet community. So how did he establish a meaningful connection with young audience? Through his books, his preaching and conversations, and the schools. So I have read his books myself, and I have learned how to live my life as a young Muslim girl in 21st century from Hocaefendi, because he gives you a lot of practical approaches on how to live your life. And also his preaching and conversations. He addressed youth by conversation. Even in early ages, he would visit coffee shops and universities and have conversations with youth, answer their questions, remove their doubts, and encourage them to serve humanity. Hocaefendi is the reason also that why many Muslim young people started going to mosques again in Turkey. And at the same time, the schools were like Hizmet schools are the best, not the best, but among the best schools all around the world. I can give the example of Afghanistan because I'm from Afghanistan. Afghan Turk schools were the best schools in Afghanistan in academics and science. And we have the picture of Muqtadir Omari over there. You can see him. He was one of the graduates of Afghan Turk schools who went to Harvard University and was a great achievement for the Afghan Turk schools. And also, in summary, Hocaefendi encouraged youth to live their fullest potential, to be the best version that God wishes to witness in His creation. Okay, respecting women, important part. Hocaefendi introduced women to high ideals and ambitions and encouraged them to make progress through piety rather than seeing piety as a barrier to progress. Okay? And I'm going to talk about three different dimensions in regards with respecting women within Hizmet organizations, broader women image, and also personal experiences. So within Hizmet organizations, leadership roles were given to women all the time, and likewise replicated all Hizmet channels for women, and also the girls' school opened shortly after in 1982. And as well as sohbets for women started at the same time as men. And if we look at the broader image, women empowerment due to Hizmet values, women started becoming a part of the society, and Muslim women in Turkey and also in other countries started like getting educated, becoming doctors, lawyers, and teachers, engineers, and politicians, and started becoming a part of the society. So I have my pictures, a picture of my ablas over there. All of them are doctors, two of them are doctors, one is biologist, the other one is lawyer, but at the same time they are teaching science and math in his math schools and courses. And also you can see Tahmina over there. Tahmina Poinda is one of the Hizmat school's graduates, Afghan tour graduates, who got the first position among 200,000 people in Afghanistan in 2018, and he was another success. She was another success story for Hizmat schools. And for personal experiences, I talked and had conversation with many adults, and they said the same thing. So I'm going to talk about only Lindsay Allah. Lindsay Allah said that when she met with Hocaefendi, like in person, she encountered him. And many times, many occasions, whenever she was entering the room or getting out of the room, Hocaefendi, although he was very sick and very old, he would stand up out of respect for her. And that's very precious. And that's how Lindsay Abla specifically felt so valued as a woman. And at the same time, Nuray Abla also mentioned her story that Hocaefendi did the same things and made her feel valued and respected in a gathering full of men. And she was the only woman over there, by the way. So these are the personal experiences of some of the Ablas, and I'm sure that all of the women here would agree with that. So in summary, Hocaefendi inspired women to have a vision beyond current societal norms, and he showed us a new horizon for Muslim women as well as a community to support them. And the last one, respecting nature. This one is very interesting. Hocaefendi always emphasized love for nature. He says that representatives of trustworthiness, moments or believers, we can call them, should harm no living creatures. And he also said that do not interfere in the natural habitat of wildlife. So Hocaefendi is like well known, like as mentioned in the testimonials of Hocaefendi's friends and students, all of them would agree with this. It's mentioned in the book Alive in Tears that shedding tears about not saving the life of a bee, not talking to he didn't talk to a student because he killed a snake. And also, he had cried multiple times because somebody cut a branch of a tree. So all of these things were because he respected and loved nature and saw that as the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he and his early students were called ant protectors because they were so careful. When they were walking, they were watching not to step on any ant. And they were so careful about this that they were well known about this. And also, in several speeches, he warned about the harm of plastics, concretes, and unnatural gases. There are also magazines published about this in Hizmat. And at the same time, I want to give another personal example from Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, we had annual tree planting campaigns. We had 3 campaigns in a year, Ramadan campaign, Qurban campaign, and in springs, we would have an annual tree planting campaign. And our oblas, you can see their pictures, they were planting trees inside Kabul city themselves, and that's a value that we learned from Hocaefendi. So, personal takeaways, I loved and respected all the human beings, Muslims and non-Muslims, even before, but now I see all people, Muslims and non-Muslims, as my brothers and sisters, and I respect and love them more than before. I've also learned how important it is to be a part of community that accepts and respects you even with your flaws. And at the same time, one more takeaway is Hocaefendi helped me appreciate nature more and to take even smallest creatures like ants very seriously because they are all creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And thank you so much for your patience with me. And if you haven't tried Maqluba yet, please do so.
Once again, I'd like to give the word to Dr. Yuk to hear her thoughts.
Thank you so much, Maryam. I think it was amazing. Again, everybody was super nervous, and we were, exchanging messages last night too. I think you will all agree they did really great, presentation because it's not easy to be in front of people. I mean, this is not what they do for a living, so it is actually great. Maryam, she joined our group a bit later, so it was in September also, and you can imagine, talking about Hocaefendi, talking about respect, and his approach to, every creature is so hard because it's the summit of his life. like you can't really fit that into this much time. So I think everybody did a great job in terms of the approach that they took to be able to summarize. And I will always remember this, because when we were doing the nature, for respect for nature, Maryam was like, Abla, like, what are we gonna write about respect for nature? I said, see, this is what Hocaefendi lists in leadership. Who would have thought respect for nature is part of a leadership description, right? We wouldn't have. We learned this from Hocaefendi, so this is why we want to include, and I think her examples were really spot on. So thank you so much for all the effort. It was a lot, I know, and you guys really did a phenomenal job. Thank you.